writer Tusitala Robert Louis Stevenson once said, "A friend is a gift you give yourself." And it was at the former homestead of Tusitala where friendship between Samoa and New Zealand was born. In 1962, it was Fiame Mataafa Famuina Mulinu'u II, the first Prime Minister of an independent Samoa, who signed a treaty of friendship. 60 years later, it's his daughter, Fiame Naomi Mataafa, Samoa's first female Prime Minister, who is maintaining the blossoming relationship, inviting New Zealand leader Jacinda Ardern to her whale. However, Ardern didn't come alone, accompanied by a cross-party delegation to a celebration-themed Lifelong Friends Ua Mamae, National, the Greens, ACT and Te Pāti Māori, some who may not be lifelong friends with Prime Minister Ardern, but on this occasion political differences were put aside to prioritise a 6-decade friendship with their Samoan neighbours.
From Te Pāti Māori's perspective, while it's great to be here to celebrate the 60th anniversary from Tangata Whenua perspective, this is our tuakana. So for us it's always been about a fusion of who we are as Māori and our connection to each other.
Across our political spectrum, we're here in friendship. To be here for the celebration of 60 years of that friendship, I think is very important, not only for Kiwis of Samoan origin, but also for our country's geopolitical relationships, which are obviously of great interest, and our RSE scheme, which is extremely topical right now and needs to be made much wider.
The visit reminded the leader of the opposition the importance of having diversity in his party ahead of next year's general election.
When we're at our absolute best, we are a national party, and we are bringing our beliefs and our principles to all communities across New Zealand. So so watch this space. I'm really quite excited with some of the Pacific people that I've been talking to, I've been reaching out, but I'm really confident that we'll go into that election with a really good set of candidates.
The delegation, featuring Samoan and iwi community leaders, were among the first guests to touch down on Samoan soil following the reopening of Samoa's borders. With more New Zealanders on their way to Samoa, the Prime Minister is urging Kiwis to help Samoa in their COVID-19 recovery.
New Zealanders, yes, they continue to enjoy New Zealand, but after 2.5 years, they are looking within the region. You see as Fiji and the Cook Islands have reopened that there's been interest there, and I'm sure that likewise you'll see the same with Samoa. Our job is, as a government, that people-to-people work that we can do, kicking off again the education exchanges that we had, the scholarships that New Zealand previously provided, making sure where there are skills exchanges that we're taking up those opportunities through, for instance, PACER Plus, the training we've previously done with the police. There's a large number of people-to-people exchanges that we can now resume and that we're very keen to.
Fiame Naomi Mataafa and Jacinda Ardern are set to partake in bilateral discussions with climate change, the COVID-19 recovery, and the flow of people between Samoa and New Zealand at the top of the agenda.
And there are a couple of things that I'd actually like to follow up on from our last conversation when she was in New Zealand. And so I've done a little follow-up on a couple of items and I'll be checking back in on those. And so, as is the case with leaders that you've met several times, these aren't new conversations. It's where can we go to next on the initiatives we've already said that we're interested in working together on.
But a strengthening relationship between Samoa and New Zealand suggests there will be no division between these lifelong friends anytime soon. Elijah Fa'afiu, PMN News.